Welcome everyone to the Whitmire IP Group Tech Entrepreneur Meetup. I recognize many of you. I see some new faces tonight as well. Thanks a lot for coming. We're a meetup that is designed around facilitating technological conversations in the greater New York Metro and Fairfield County area. We always bring in great speakers like we have tonight to talk about new tech topics and to really just expand our knowledge of growing technologies. My name is Ben Lewers. I work at the Whitmire IP Group. We're a patent and trademark and commercial litigation law firm. And we've been hosting this meetup for, over 2 years now, I think. And this is our second virtual meetup. So again, welcome to you all. Tonight we have from Plato Technologies, Michael Noel. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Plato Technologies, and Brian Feinberg is on the call in the background, but he had an obligation that came up tonight. So Michael, we're very pleased to have present to us. Michael is the co-founder and CEO of Blockchain Consultants and the host of Blockchain Weekly. He has numerous connections to private equity groups and angel investor foundations and is on numerous advisory boards such as DigiBuild, BitCare, Storecoin, and Swift Harvest. Michael is a Kryptonite Ventures founding member and was certified by the EC Council as a certified blockchain professional in 2018. Michael is the founder of a private mining operation which started mining in 2011 and is still in operation today. He lends his expertise initiatives across the industry in both private and public sectors. And so, Michael, it's great to have you. Everyone on the call, what we'd like to do is you can feel free to ask questions during the presentation, but we would ask that you would type them to me, and then I will have the task of interrupting Michael, and then we can get your questions answered. So if at any time you have a question, type them in a message to me. Otherwise, there will be a Q&A at the end of the call as well. And so, Michael, I will turn it over to you.
Well, Ben, I thank you for that introduction. Pretty long introduction there. I got a good nap during that, so that was a big benefit for me. Thank you so much. I needed that, a little power nap in there. And the audience, I do apologize. You've got me today. Brian Feinberg was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, he had some things to take care of, so he's asked me to operate in his stead. And I do apologize. He's much more entertaining and engaging than I am, but I'm going to do my best to slog through this. One thing I will guarantee that there will be some mess ups today. Always is. It's live, and Plato is in its MVP right now. I think we have a pretty good MVP. But it's still in the MVP stage. It is active. We do RN search. We do have, I don't know, sometimes 1,000, sometimes 2,000 people on the landing pages. But Plato Data, or Plato Technologies, is Plato Data Intelligence. We're in vertical search, and people always say, well, what's vertical search? Well, I know Google, I know Google, I know Google, I know Bing, I know DuckDuckGo, right? DuckDuckGo is a little bit more secure as far as the data and the analytics that they can collect from there. So there's a lot of different reasons for going to different kinds of search engines, but they're all pretty much generalists. And for instance, if you go to Google and you look for blockchain investors, and I think we'll probably, I think this might be, yeah, blockchain investor. So I went to blockchain investor here in Google, and I come up with a search here because I'm looking for an investor for my blockchain project, right? Makes sense, right? So I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to go blockchain investor. Let's see, I have Investopedia, everything you need to know about Investopedia. Can you see? Eric, am my screen being shared?
Yes, yep.
Okay, good. So everything you know about blockchain, that's not an investor. There's a couple of news stories there. How to invest in blockchain, that's not what I'm looking for. what is a blockchain investor? Well, that's going to tell them what they are, but not necessarily what blockchain seed investors, a savvy blockchain, a book on cryptocurrencies, how to invest in blockchain. It gives me just about everything there is, but blockchain investors. It's way too broad. When we begin to look at vertical search, we begin to narrow down the subjects. The difficulty here is when we begin to silo search into different categories and different verticals, there's bleed through. And what algorithms do you use to categorize things? How do you categorize things and things of this nature? That's kind of, we'll get to that a little bit further on in the presentation. But just like to talk about who we are. First of all, Athera Labs. Thank you, Athera Labs. Thank you, Brian Feinberg. Athera Labs is the parent company for Plato. They've been around since 2014, I believe, doing things in the blockchain space. Brian was with an investment group out of Manhattan, and they began to see interesting things happening in the blockchain space, began to collect data as far as specifically the blockchain space back in 2014, 2015, and began to collate that data so that they could understand what the environment was and who's who in that industry. They found out really quickly that it was a little difficult to get information from people, right? So as they began to collect data and began to collate that data, they found it even more difficult to take the data and make it relevant. Because that's really what we want, right? We want to go to search. We want to find the information that we want. We want it that fast, which is easy to do if you're looking for, a kayak on Amazon or something of that nature. Much more difficult if you're looking for blockchain developers, or if you're looking for specific information. If you're a CEO, a C-level executive in a company, you want to know about the industry. Well, there's lots of services you can subscribe to. But even then, the services that you subscribe to are a little generalist. They're not really, they haven't verticalized and compartmentalized, silo the data, and then begin to have algorithms that go through and understand what the individual is searching for. We use a consensus algorithm, by the way, on our data sets. So if you are looking for blockchain investors, you're going to get results that are consensus driven. And the more that data is used, that gives it a little bit of a hit as far as the data in the hierarchy. Does that make any sense, Eric? Or
and sorry, Michael. My name's Ben. If you are talking to me and not Eric on the phone. No, yeah. So just broadly. So what is vertical search, and can you, will you please describe again the consensus search method?
So if you're in the blockchain space and you want a developer in blockchain, you're going to want someone who's specifically doing blockchain. If you're in the energy space and you're looking for an energy company that does energy, and you type in natural gas, you're going to get a whole bunch of natural gas companies. You're going to get a whole bunch of stuff that's not really relevant. If you're looking for AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality kind of companies, you're probably going to if you go to Google, you're probably only going to see, one or two companies that are in that results. But yet there's hundreds of companies that are in there, right? So we began to verticalize and silo the information from one specific industry to the next, so that when you're looking for a specific search in a silo, you'll be delivered information that revolves around that silo. Does that make sense? It
does. And can you filter on industries then?
Oh yeah, you can filter. So we'll go into Plato. This is basically version 1 of Plato. This version is a couple of years old. It's current, but we currently have nodes. We currently have price and supply. We have different things as far as the nodes are concerned. These are articles, information source articles. There might be articles that were written in Coinbase. There might be articles that are written in different publications online. They might be patents. We have a patent database now that is in here. So this could potentially be patent database. And this could be a person that there's a node. That person node could be linked to an article, could be linked to a patent, it could be linked to a company, it could be linked to a lot of different things. And that person could be in the blockchain space, it could be in the energy space, and it could be in the, another space altogether. So the real trick is how do we have relevant results? If I'm looking for Ben, and I'm looking for Ben in the investment space or in the litigation space, I'm going to get, I know I type in Michael Noel, that's my name, N-O-E-L, and there's 50 different Michael Noels. How do if I want Michael Noel blockchain, it's not going to give you me, even though that I've been in the blockchain space for, quite a few years. Where if we can take the information and verticalize it down into nodes, into clusters, begin to silo that information, Michael Noel blockchain is going to give you relevant results. Back into where we're at, we have sectors. So sectors, this would be the automotive sector. These are companies within the automotive sector. Again, this is version 1, which is a couple of years old now. We're currently working on version 3, and we'll get there very quickly. But the relevancy becomes relatively apparent when we can begin to dive into the automotive space, understand what the companies are, dive into the blockchain space, understand what the companies are. We can begin to dive into we can go into patents, big patent database here. So all the patents that are out there, I think there's 900,000 patents the last time we checked. The apparatus claim a processor, and there's the PDF of the patents actually included in here. And the people that are included in the patent can now be linked in that vertical space. Does that make sense, Eric or Ben?
Yeah, it does. And so can you go over again, you said to use a consensus search approach?
Yes, within the sectors, there's a consensus. We don't have that in place right now, but it's definitely on the drawing board. We've got a lot of things going. And again, this is just version number 1. So this doesn't have any of the consensus algorithms built in at this point. But in the algorithm that we're working on, if people consume this information based on that search, more relevant results based on consensus will bubble up to the top. Mm-hmm. So the more people consume that data, the more that information will begin to bubble up to the top. You can approach the consultants and approach the results in that way, understanding that is the more common, that is the more used results for this specific sector, and then there's other sectors that are below it. And if you want to dive down, we have a very deep database. And as we talked about, if you go to Google right now and you look at blockchain investor, which is what I've done, you could spend all day looking at results on Google for blockchain investor and not find one, right? Does that make sense?
Right. Yep.
Because it doesn't make any sense to me. That's the problem, right? we all just think Google has done such a great job, but it's come to a point to where our usage of search is almost native to who we are and what we're doing. Especially now, when we're pushed out of the meetup room in Whitmire Group's office, right? You've been pushed out, and we're doing it virtually. Everyone's online now, right? Everyone has the opportunity to check up on Michael Noel, see who he is. Brian Feinberg, see who he is. Plato Technologies Inc., see who they are. Athera Labs, see, it gives us a whole bunch of information that we can consume and use to make decisions as far as investments, as far as partnerships are concerned, as far as making acquisitions, mergers and acquisitions, who's buying who, as far as due diligence, as far as litigation is concerned, as far as due diligence teams are concerned. These are all verticals and disciplines where search is currently used, and there are other tools out there that are being used to provide the information. But even the tools that, even the guys that are doing, for instance, the due diligence teams that I'm familiar with, the guys that run due diligence, they have like 7 different subscriptions that they use, and it's thousands of dollars in order to get the subscriptions that they really need. And it's because they need this, they need this, they need that, and the other thing. And it's sometimes very difficult to get the information that you need on a company. Where if you go to a blockchain investor, you go on Plato, you type in people, and I want to look at only blockchain investors. I press return, and I'm going to get relevant results right off the bat. And in addition to that, we can set it up so there's custom searches, so that this is the investor database, and these are all the people that are investors in the blockchain space. So we can begin to return real relevant data very quickly. By the way, this is the dashboard for the version number 1, and now we're moving into the dashboard for version number 2, which still has the same sectors, still has blockchain as a sector, with the blockchain companies, still has different sectors, and the thing that we added here's the people. We can search for specific people here. Here's Joshua Clayman. You probably know who she is. She's a cryptocurrency lawyer out of Stanford. You might have bumped into her. Lots of different people in the space that we can take a look at and begin to unpack on who they are and what they do. And if we move into, so Plato Data version 1, Plato Data version 2, and this is the new front end. The way that we begin to take this information and begin to cache it and begin to deliver it to people for consumption. This is we've moved from a hard-coded website into more of a, more of a WordPress environment, which is enterprise grade. This is responsive, so it does very well on search for mobile. This is zephyrnet.com. This is basically Plato Technologies version 3. So we've really begun to morph and really begin to grow and really begin to add different feature sets. Plato version 1 was kind of the rudimentary set. Plato 2, we added a lot of different search features, added the patent database, 900,000 patents, and began to interlink the people into the different silos and into the different content pieces. In the 3rd version, which is basically WordPress, responsive design, very easy on mobile. We've been able to link the data inside of the articles, right inside of the articles. So we use hyperlinks instead of different categories when we're talking about information. The verticals that there's artificial intelligence, AV, VR, virtual reality, augmented reality, automotive, blockchain, cannabis, crowdfunding, cybersecurity, energy, fintech, gaming, payments, private equity, quantum, semiconductor startups, venture capital, and software as a service. These are all verticals that we're beginning to build out, and we've already began to collect data. We've got massive data silos of information that we've collected over the last several years, and we're beginning to take that data, silo it, apply our algorithms, and then move towards a point that we can give very relevant search. And it's already beginning to take place. This is, I don't know if your audience knows analytics, but this is a group called Lead Forensics. This is our default dashboard. Again, we're in development, so you're looking at May 16th and May 17th, and we were down in development. We peaked about 1,500 on May 11th. We did some development work, which brought us down as far as page views is concerned, but now we're going back up. May 19th, we're at 562 page views, 376 visits. That is so far today. So we'll end up, 400, 600 up, and this updates. The companies that are looking at us is 8x8. 8x8 is in the unified communications industry, EU Automated, RC Work, US Census Bureau, Morningstar India, Amazon.com. These are all companies that are currently using ZephyrNet and involved. Not that we've reached out and done any marketing to them. It's just that organically they find our stuff. How do they find our stuff? Well, if we look at, again, this is Lead Forensics. This is Lead Forensics. It's attached to Zephyr. So University of Florida, Hewlett Packard Japan, Australian government, Revere Control Systems, Citigroup. Citigroup multi-visits. If we open up Citigroup, we can see that the Warren, New Jersey office. We can see that this is the information that they looked at, right? FTC files charges in $20 million digital asset and binary option scam. They came to us organically. How did they come to us organically? Well, if we go to Google and we type in the article, we understand that ZephyrNet is now, this is an article from Crowdfund Insider, and we're ranked number 2. In some cases, we rank the original content, and we do this time and time and time and time and time again. How do we do that? Well, when we look at ZephyrNet, right, a couple of things going on. Number one is all of the languages that we automatically go to. In other words, if you're in Russia, and we do have a lot of traffic that is global. We do have a lot of global traffic. We'll look at that a little bit later, but this is the Russian website, and this is an article that's been transposed and translated into Russian, and the links remain in this information, right? So we have information about interactive information about what's going on in the blockchain space in Russian, along with links that are relevant. This is the landing page in Russian. If I want to see the landing page in Finnish, then it gives it to me. I mean, I just picked a couple of languages. So here's the Finnish landing page. If I was in Finland, I would be consuming information here. I could go to links, and of course the links are going to be in English because they're not translated, but it's going to give you at least the information that and the reference points that we have as far as that's concerned. So we have all this information indexed very well organized. Site maps are, I wish I could spell. Dadgummit. Well, of course, well, it's not coming up for me, of course. There's the first one, right? Usually it's very well organized. We're all in the indexed in all the search engines. We do a global search engine update, about every 10 or 15 minutes, and we get a lot of traffic from different places around the world. So here's Hewlett Packard Japan, and I think I looked at this one before. Here's this is the Citibank. This would be Hewlett Packard Japan. This is the article that they looked at, and this article is actually written in Japan. So Hewlett Packard Japan is actually consuming information from ZephyrNet. It's information that we've collected. It's information that we've syndicated out, and we've syndicated in 26 different languages. Ben, does that make any sense? Am I?
It does, and you said that some of your viewers are they listed company names. Is this designed for corporations searching industry specific topics, or also for end users, or what's the target market there?
We have a freemium model, so zephyrnet.com. You can sign up. You can get a free vertical if you want any of the other verticals, and that's when there's a premium. That's when we begin to charge you for the additional information that you want. There's exchange there in the Bitcoin space. There's a lot in the Bitcoin space when we start breaking it down and looking at the verticals and blockchain. So there's companies in here. So if you're an investor, right, you're looking for blockchain, you're want to understand what blockchain is. There's patents. The patent database is being developed. That's part of what we were down for a couple of days, is developing this patent database, 900,000 patents, right? I'm trying to load that. Again, this is an MVP, obviously, but MVPs that I've seen aren't this sophisticated. So I think we're ahead of the pack as far as that's concerned. I think it's a good opportunity. But in the blockchain space, you have companies, media, patents, digital, you have blockchain, the DApps, and blockchain exchanges. There's all this information that we can begin to deliver in the blockchain space. Crowdfunding companies, energy companies, energy media, the patents, all this information in vertical search, who are the people involved, what are they involved in, what patents are they involved in, who's writing about them, things of this nature. So anyone, if you're interested in investing in a company, this is going to be information and information you're going to want to consume. If you're an attorney like yourself, I'm sure you can find a use for this, right?
Right. And you mentioned that you would get perhaps a vertical with a free account. Is the business model designed to be vertical by vertical in that type of like a subscription model, or
vertical by vertical? It definitely is vertical search. It gives you relevant results within that vertical space. That's vertical search. It's very powerful. Most of the search engines out there are generalists. Their job is to give you results that someone is going to pay them for, number one, right? And then number two, they're going to give you results that is semantically latent indexed to what your keywords were. What are you searching for? And they're going to look at the entire internet and give you those results, because it's just a general search as far as they're concerned. There are things you can do to improve the results on Google. Not a lot of people know those. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. With Plato Technologies, the vertical search that we deliver is information that is within that category. It's very relevant results, right? We're not going to show you results based on what someone pays us to show you, right? It's a subscription model. You'll sign up for some data. We'll give you some data sets. Obviously, once you begin to understand what the tools are, begin to drive down and understand that these are interlinked, you'll run into an individual who's involved in the blockchain space. You're also involved in the energy space. You'll see that this guy is also involved in the energy space. You're going to want to know what he's doing. And plus, you're involved in the energy space. You're going to need that information. So that's where the subscription comes in. Does that make sense, Ben?
It does.
And again, I hope we get some questions, because I can tell your eyes are getting droopy, and I'm putting you to sleep. I know you are. That's my talent. That's my special talent. I can put people to sleep faster than anyone else. So if we go back and we look at the results, it's vertical results. Citibank is using us. We looked at that one already. CFT files charges in $20 million digit assets. This was published 2 weeks ago, May 7th. We're second in search results as far as that's concerned, right below the original content. In many cases, go ahead.
Hey, Michael. So I think you answered this, just to make sure. So can you clarify how you're charging customers? And I'm reading a question from the chat.
So it's a freemium model. You'll get a data set for free. So you can come to the website eventually. Right now we don't have, right now it's basically our MVP. So please come to zephyrnet.com. Please consume the information and do us a favor and let us know, you know, what your thoughts are, what you see, what you think is better, what you're seeing that is you like, what you're seeing that is not there that you'd like to see. We're very responsive to that kind of information right now in the MVP. So you have a data set that's free. If you want additional data, we'll begin to build that out. The additional silos, what's the pricing going to be? You know, the pricing is up in the air right now. We have some models that we've tested, you know, and you know that undoubtedly you're going to want another module, right? Once to the point that you get that freemium in there, you begin to understand just how easy it is to get the information you want. Then you're going to want that next level. So, and you're probably going to want not just one, but you're probably going to want 4 or 5, depending upon what you're doing. I know that your group is involved in patent litigation, and I'm sure you'd love to see, you know, the patent database, right? So I know I can count. I know I can count on you. I mean, that's a slam dunk. I'll be, you know, I'll be giving you a call and asking you to get out your checkbook here fairly quickly, I'm sure.
Right, and even just people, you know, working across technologies. Another question here is, so how are you? What are you doing to get people to hear about Plato Technologies and develop a critical mass where there's enough revenue, and how are you marketing the search tool?
So our search tool is organic. We have, I think this morning we had 32,000 article pieces in ZephyrNet, and it's 32,000 times 26 because there's 26 different languages. That's a big site as far as Google is concerned, and they've indexed all of our information. And as we begin to build this out, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We begin to get more organic traffic every single day. Like I say, we have peaked at a couple of thousand visitors in a day. And on average, it's something over 1,000 at this point after doing it for a couple of months. So the way we're driving engagement is to get people used to coming to Zephyr, consuming information. There'll be an app that will be coming out in I/O and in the Play Store, where people can actually get the Plato Technologies app and begin to set up the different verticals and begin to consume that information. Once they begin to consume the information, we'll get their information eventually when they have to sign up in order to get the information. It'll be behind a wall. We'll begin the drip email campaigns on that, and still begin to, at that point, begin to build and build and build. We'll probably have, you know, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 visits a day. As far as engagement is concerned, there's nothing quite like what we're doing right now as far as actually delivering information that is current in search results. We also are doing, obviously, meetups like this, and thank you so much, Ben, for allowing us the pleasure of getting together with you and your group here. We really appreciate the opportunity to take who we are and begin to disseminate the information and disseminate Zephyr and disseminate our vertical search strategies. We'll be moving on to crowdfunding. We'll be moving on to funding, things of this nature. All that comes with significant amounts of money being spent on marketing, awareness, and branding. So that's the way we're beginning to build, and we already have a fairly significant group that's behind us. And evidence of that is when we go to Lead Forensics and look at the visitor list, May 19th, May 19th, May 19th. These are all from today. And this is not a list of all of the visitors. These are just a list of the visitors that Lead Forensics has information on as far as our IP address is concerned. So MF Sealing Technologies, Finnish Communications Regulatory Authority, SK Intarvo Technology, Firma GmbH, that's out of Germany, Genpact, University of Liechtenstein, Windcar Group, University of Pennsylvania, Lizard Limited, Public Works and Government Services of Canada, Johnson Bank Citigroup, USB Group AG, Revere Control Systems, Australian Government, Department of Defense, Hewlett Packard Japan, New Style Digital, University of Florida. These are all people that are already landing on our site and having multiple visits. Public Works Services of Canada is at 2 visits, Citigroup's at 3, and we're beginning to see more and more people begin to come back and consume the information.
Did you say your company is venture backed right now, or?
Well, it's bootstrapped, and we're going into that mode of getting information and mode of collecting information. As far as, I wonder if I can share my screen on this one. Let me see if I can find some contact information for you here, and then share it on your screen. Come on, of course. This is live, right? It's a live version. Every time I need the information, it's not going to be there. Now it's there. Okay, good. So I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to share again. And can you see Brian Feinberg there?
Yes.
Yeah, Brian Feinberg, our fearless leader out of New York. He's the CEO. Here's myself. I'm the COO. Abhishek Gupta is our chief data officer. Brilliant young man who really is involved in the collection of the data and has been there since the very beginning. There's various leaders, advisors, but Zephyr at Lab, Brian Feinberg is the CEO and co-founder there. If you want to reach out to him, we are moving on to the roadshow. I think that we're doing something, if I recall, sometime in June with Capital Partners, I believe. But anyway, we are going on the roadshow based on a $6 million valuation. There's $1 million, somewhere around $1 million that's available at the discounted rates. And I think it's net capital that we're working with as far as mid-June. So we'll be working on the raise there. Definitely a company in the data space, in the blockchain space, in the artificial intelligence space, in the automotive industry, as far as collecting data for virtual realities and some of the new autonomous vehicle technology that's coming around. This is where we live, right? We live in the cutting, bleeding edge. And if you're looking to invest in the bleeding edge, if you're someone that is involved in the cutting, bleeding edge, as far as litigation, as far as data intelligence, as far as getting involved in due diligence, mergers and acquisitions, if you're an investor, anything of that nature, this is information that's going to become more and more valuable.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that presentation. We'll open it up to some Q&A. I think it's working. If participants would just like to message their question, and I can relay it. I have one here. And so can you tell if people are searching in your site directly or are being directed to your site through a third party like Google? And what's the breakdown of that?
So we get a lot of traffic from social on LinkedIn. Of course, we're doing some marketing on LinkedIn. I have a pretty heavy presence on LinkedIn. So just by virtue of my presence, you're going to, and Brian Feinberg has got a great presence. Abhi's got a great presence. So just by virtue of that, you're going to have connections that when they do searches in LinkedIn, they're going to find you as far as either Athera Labs or Plato. So that's a good one. The primary one is search coming from Google. Second one is Bing. And then we have Index and various other search engines that are around. We do very good in search and very good in organic. So yes, we can tell. Yes, we do tell. Google Analytics is installed on the website. Google drills down and lets us know who's visiting and from where. So yeah, that information is very relevant to us. We look at it on a daily basis. We understand where our traffic is coming from. We understand the different things that it takes to get that organic search and continue to grow that search algorithm.
And what's the head count at Plato Technologies right now for employees?
Six.
I'm sorry? Six.
Six.
Okay.
We run a pretty mean machine. The group at Plato is, well, I mean, you know, of course I have a dog in the hunt. I think the group from Plato, by and large, are very professional, very skilled, very tenured. And I think that that's kind of what it takes to be successful in search.
Okay, well, any other questions from the group?
Oh, come on, give me some questions. Someone asked what the meaning of life is, please. Nothing. Crickets on that one. Ben, this is a tough audience you have here.
Yeah, they're just soaking it in. Oh, Lauren, yeah, I'll unmute you. Lauren, go ahead.
I just want to say I actually met Brian through LinkedIn and just the whole blockchain space. And I went with someone else on their meeting. You know, they were going to talk to him about their company. And I'm in the process of putting together my own nonprofit and charity. And
Nice.
And it came to me that Brian could be very useful. Using this technology could really be a game changer for what I'm trying to do. And I mean, it could help so many people for what I'm trying to put out there in the project that I hopefully can execute sometime soon, near future. But I just think, I just saw so much promise in this because I have so much frustration when I'm Googling specific things myself. And it's just gotten to the point where it's out of control how much stuff you just get in front of you. And it's just, it's not organized. It doesn't make any sense. And you got to really dig for what you're looking for. So if this can just take it and make it all, you know, uniform and easy to see, it's definitely, it could be a definite game changer, especially like, you know, pulling up patents, you know, could definitely help you guys too. Anyway, I'm glad that, you know, we got to at least listen to some of the things that you guys are working on. But thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Lauren, I appreciate you. I appreciate the comments. I think, you know, I'll send you the $20, you know, your check is in the
Starbucks gift card. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No. I'm joking, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, certainly nonprofit organizations, we're interested in supporting nonprofit organizations. I'd be interested in learning what you're doing and how you might be able to help you. I'd be interested in learning specifically what you're looking for and how you're going to use it, so I can begin to you know, customize the program based around a nonprofit. That's a whole category that we hadn't even talked about as far as monetization strategy is concerned. Nonprofits are definitely a growing segment in the universe out there. So thank you for those comments. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, if there's nothing else, Michael, thank you so much for teaching us about vertical search engines and what Plato Technologies is doing. We haven't had, you know, this kind of technology put in front of us before, and this kind of innovation in the search engine space discussed. So thank you very much. And anyone who needs it, the contact information is there. Thanks to all for attending. And so we hold these on the third Tuesday of each month. So next, I don't have the date in front of me, but the third Tuesday in June, we hope to see you all again. Anyway, thank you, Michael.
Ben, appreciate the opportunity, Ben. Thank you so much.
Take care, all.